Imagine working only 3 days in a week and still getting your full paycheck. In this video, I'll be sharing with you guys how you can reclaim your free time back and still be able to keep your income steady. Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Layla. In case you're new here, I'm a nurse here in Germany and I do work in home intensive care. Plus, I do teach English in a nursing school, so that's my part-time job. For today's video, I'm in my sleeping room because I have my day off and I was like, I want to sleep longer, but I would like to do a video. And I'm like, okay, we can do it also in my sleeping room because it's also lightened very well. It has very good lights. So I decided to be working in bed. You see my laptop is here. And I want to talk about how I managed to get a job which allows me to have 15 days in a month off. So in this job that I'm doing as a home intensive care nurse, I only work 15 days in a month and the other 15 days are free. So the total of those days is 30. So if it's a 30-day month, I usually work 15 days. And if it's a 31-day month, I work 15 days and I get more days free. So the number of days that I work in a month are usually 15. Maximum, okay, I would say maximum 16, okay? When it goes beyond 16, they usually have to ask me if I have the capacity to work more. And then I can say yes or no. Now, as a nurse, I have worked in different sectors. In the first places I worked in, I was working every day in a week. I usually had to work Monday to Friday. And if it was my weekend work week, I then had to work 7 days in a week because we were working less hours. You know, we used to work 7 hours on stations. Yeah, I was working in a care home and we used to work 7 hours. And the 7 hours are too little. And that means I have to attend work every day so that I can come up to my 160 hours in a month. And most times when I used to work on stations, I used to have a lot of minus hours. Minus hours, I mean like I was in Minustunde continuously because the 7 hours do not really add up well. If I get more than 4 days in a month, that means I will be in minus, like I'll be in minuses, you know. And I don't know how, but that's how it used to be when I was on a station. And then you would find yourself some months having to work. If the month has maybe 30 days, you would find yourself having to work 28 days, you know, because you have built up minus hours. When you have holidays, the holidays do not count as 7-hour day of work. They count half of it. Maybe they would then count, because you work only 7 hours, so they would count 5 hours, you know. So whenever you go on holidays, in a station or on a care home, be it in a hospital, like you go in minus hours, and when you come back, then you have to work a lot so that you come out of the minuses. And then it puts you in a situation where you have to work for 25 days in a month or for 27 days in a month. So that means each day you will have to wake up and go to work, and you cannot do anything. If you're a nurse, you must know that we do work a lot on stations. And when you come back home after a day shift, maybe like a early morning shift from 6 o'clock to 13:30, you are so tired. Like your legs are so tired, you are overworked, your back is paining, you've carried people, and you do not want to do anything nachmittags, like in the evenings. All you want to do is to chill on your sofa, put your legs up, because in the next day you have to go back. So usually it made me so exhausted. I was really so tired every day. And it wasn't just me, because in the beginning when I was in Stuttgart, I used to work with my sisters on the stations, you know. We used to come back home. Let me put my microphone here. We used to come back home so tired, and our backs were paining, because you know, in a care home you always have to assist people to move from bed, to go to their wheelchairs, and then bringing them back and all that. So it used to make our backs pain. And the same process is in a hospital, because if you're in a hospital and your patient cannot move from the bed to go to a roach and transfer them where they have to go, or bring them to the bathroom where they have to go, usually you as a nurse, if you don't have a helper, whereby the helpers can also be doing something else in this period, you need to transfer the patient, then you find yourself as a nurse having to do that, you know. So we had a lot of back pains, me and my sisters, a lot of back pains. There is no day that I was leaving the station without back pain, because I was working on heavy patients, you know. Even when I wasn't working on heavy patients, the patients that I usually had to work on are patients who are really with dementia. And when you are working on dementia patients, they don't know where to go, they don't know what you want. Even when you communicate, they forget everything. You have to do the things with them all the time. Just if it's just like sitting them on the bed so that they can eat on their Nachttisch, like on their night table to eat something, you have to bring them in that position. And bringing them in that position needs you to use your back, and you get back pains, even when you work like kinesthetic. Kinesthetic is a kind of Bewegung we learn in school, So it used to make me feel so tired working each day in a week, 7 days or 5 days of a week, And that's common on station, you have to fill your 160 hours each month, The other thing that I do not like with working 7 days in a week or 5 days in a week, because you're working less hours, 7 hours, is that you get burned out, because you have to wake up. It's like a routine. You work this week, you're working early morning shifts, and then the other week you're working late hour shifts, like in the evenings. You find yourself packed. Like there is no day that you have a whole day free where you can say, okay, I will sleep longer and I will clean up and all that, Even when you have a Spätschicht, like an evening shift, you always have to wake up earlier. Maybe like by 9 o'clock you have to be awake, because maybe you want to do your breakfast, you want to clean up, you want to do your Wäsche, like clean your clothes, and aufräumen, like you have a lot of things to do. And sometimes after doing all those things, you want to relax a little bit, because you want to charge before you go into the work. Because once you go now at 13:30, once you go in for the work, it's again action, So for that time I was working on stations, I found myself not having enough time for self-care, like taking time to relax, staying longer in bed. Like right now, like seriously, right now it's let me see what time it is. Right now it's 12 o'clock. 12 o'clock, and I am still in bed, and I can say, okay, I have my whole day off. I'm just going to stay in bed longer. I can wake up. I can get out of my sleeping room at 13 o'clock. No one cares. If I'm not hungry, I'll stay even longer. And also the other thing is with stations, I had a fitness studio. I registered myself in a gym, and whenever I finished my day shifts, I used to think, okay, I will go to the gym. But I kid you not, my legs couldn't let me go to the gym, because my legs were hurting. Like there is a way your legs be so, I don't know, they get paralyzed and they're hurting because you have been standing for all those hours at work. So it was really so tiring. Now, the tip that I'm going to be giving you guys who are tired of not having time for your own hobbies, not having time to do things, not having time to relax, the tip that I'm going to be giving you is, if you're here in Germany already, you could consider working in home intensive care. Now, home intensive care has different categories. We have home intensive care where you can work 7 hours, and that's on the stations. Small stations, they usually have maximum 12 patients, So you will be working in Wohngemeinschaft. There are those places too, where patients will be discharged from the ICU, and then they will be stabilized. They will be bringing them to the home intensive care stations, where we shall be monitoring them. Each nurse will be having 3 patients maximum. Some Wohngemeinschaft or home intensive care stations, they might give you only 2 patients or 1 patient. For example, one of my friends is working on 1 patient in a Wohngemeinschaft. And then my sister, or me myself, I was in a Wohngemeinschaft where I was working on 3 patients. And you have a lot of time. So in these stations, these small stations for intensive care, you could also work 7 hours. So if you're a person who is like 12 hours is too long for me, you can negotiate the working time. They have flexible working hours. You can work 7, you can work 8 hours, you can also work 12 hours. So when I was working in that Wohngemeinschaft, I was working 12 hours because me, I like it when I get all my hours quicker. I gather my working hours schneller, like quicker, so that I can have my days off, So I used to work 3 days in a week, and then when it's my work weekend, then I work the work weekend too, and then again I have a break, and then I come back, That's how I used to work, like 12 hours, because me, I like it when I have 15 days free in a month, not coming every day. I have to wake up, it's a routine. No, I want to have time, because when I have my 15 days free, I can have time to do my other things. For example, right now, You guys might be wondering, how am I even managing to be doing YouTube videos when I'm a nurse? It's really not easy. I'm working 100%. In my job that I'm doing right now, I'm working 100%, and I am delivering 160 hours each month of work. So I'm being able to do a lot of things because I'm working in this kind of nursing sector, which allows me to have a lot of free time. Yes, I'm working 12 hours right now. I'm working in home intensive care, 1 to 1. Now, like I said, they have different sectors or kinds. The ambulante care, the ambulante intensive care has different kinds. There is this one, you will be on a station where you will be able to work 7 hours, 8 hours, 12 hours, and you're working on 3 patients. Or you would decide to work on 1 patient and you'll be working 12 hours. That's what I'm doing. So I usually go to my patient's place, take up my shift at 7, and I leave at 7. And I usually do not even work more than 3 days in a week. So I work 3 days in a week, and then plus my weekend if I'm to work on that weekend. But if I'm not to work on the weekend, I can have then 5 days free in a row, which then enables me to do my hobbies. Now, if you're a person who has a lot of hobbies, there are a lot of things you would want to do and you still haven't found time to do them, this is the type of nursing you would want to try out. Because I kid you not, here you will not have your legs paining, you will not have your back paining, because most of the times you are having only 1 patient and you have time, endless time, and most of the times you do not have to do a lot of moving here and here with the patients. You really have time and you're working on your own pace. And the other advantage that this type of work carries is that they will not tell you to einspringen if you do not have the time to einspringen. Of course, they will. Einspringen is like coming in and taking in shifts. Of course, they will try to ask you, hi, Leila, do you have time today to take up a night shift? And then when you say no, it's a no. They will not force you to come and einspringen. And when you do einspringen, if you take up that shift, of course, they will pay you for it. Like, they will give you that good shine, or they will give you that Zuschlag, but it's not a must to do it. And that's why I'm saying it's really more worth it to do 1 to 1. Even when some people say, okay, ambulante care 1 to 1, you are slaving because you are working at the patient's place and they feel like they have the entitlement to make you do things the whole 12-hour shifts. It's not like that, and that's why I say it's usually good if you do not just do the beginner course, you should also do the expert course, so that you get to learn what is the meaning of 1 to 1 intensive pflege. Normally, you are just like a person who is there for notable emergency situations. You're not going to be maiding your patient. You're just going to be doing the things that you are supposed to be doing. You're doing the Behandlung you're supposed to be doing. For example, Absaugen, when they husten, when they cough, you do the Absaugen, but you are not there to maid. You are not there to do their cleaning the whole entire house. No, actually, you are supposed to clean only where you are working in. If they are living in a house where their parents are, or where their daughters and sons live, they are responsible for cleaning the rest of the house. You yourself, you're just cleaning up where you are working, disinfecting the things that you are using in that room, and that's it, and your workroom, and that's it. And if you're like, okay, being in a person's place for 12 hours, it's too exhausting, how can you even do that, it's too much. People are saying that. I'm mentioning these things because people come on TikTok and they tell me it's exhausting, but I don't know how far exhausting, what it means by exhausting. I believe exhausting is when you are on a station and you have to work on 10 patients in a small period of time. Mentally, physically, that's exhausting. Here, it's not exhausting. The only thing is you have to be creative, you yourself. For example, me, when I have my 12-hour shift with my patient, even despite the fact that we're not talking with each other because she can't, most times what I do with her is to do a lot of Beschäftigungen, like activities. I do like, we do exercises, we do exercises, and then I move her fingers. Those are the things that you can do at the comfort of your, you're just sitting with her like this, and then you just massaging her fingers, and you can put on TV, you can put on music while you're doing that, you massage her fingers, and that's it, And then other people say, yes, there is nothing to learn in home intensive care. But why isn't there anything to learn in home intensive care? Usually we have this type of intensive care, they have apps, yeah, they have schools where they have partnership, and we have fortbildungen that we have to consume each year. They put fortbildung and they teach us about oxygen and oxygen supplies, machines and all that. You can sit and learn those things, relearn those things, because every year things do change, technology does change. So you can learn a lot, you know. And also if you find like, okay, there is nothing new that I'm learning in this kind of nursing, you can decide to do a part-time job. For example, I'm doing a part-time job because I found myself in a situation that I am forgetting a few things, or I'm having too little that I'm doing as a nurse. So I decided to get a part-time job. Yeah, I've been assisting in a care home because I missed doing things with medication, like preparing a lot of different medications, you know. I wanted to get to relearn which type of medication this is, for example, what does it do, those things. I don't need to work 100% in a station so that I keep being active. I can go and work there as a mini job, like a part-time job, so that I activate my brain, so that I keep those informations in my brain, not forgetting how someone can put a catheter, or not forgetting how someone can prepare medicine, or which medicines have which Wirkungen, which medicine have this reaction in the body or something like that. I can do a part-time job in that other sector while making this one my main job, because it provides me peace, it provides me time for my hobbies. Like, seriously speaking, I cannot imagine myself working on a station and still be able to do YouTube videos, or still be able to teach people English. I mean, to be able to teach people German for nurses free of charge here online, or to be giving English classes for nurses, and to be able to, what else do? I do also have a TikTok account where I'm sometimes also more active there. Like, I couldn't imagine myself being a stationed nurse, working 7 days in a row and being able to do all these hobbies. Like, it's impossible. It's impossible. I'd be so exhausted. I've been able to do this just because I only have to work 3 days in a week. And I know once I've finished my 3 days in a week, and it's not my work weekend, I have my time, I plan my hobbies, I plan that I want to teach people German in this period, and I plan I want to teach people English for nurses in this period, and I plan that I want to do YouTube videos. Like, seriously, it's so fun to work in home intensive care. Yes, everything has its own disadvantage, but home intensive care is carrying more advantages than disadvantages, because also, despite the fact that you're working less hours, despite the fact that you're working less days, home intensive care is highly paid. If you haven't informed yourself yet, in home intensive care is really, really well paid, because the beginning salary that they offer is 4,000 euros. Then after, your salary increases depending on the experience. When you stay longer, you can get more money. Okay? And also, there is something called Verpflegungsgeld, money for food. Usually, when you are working in home intensive care, because you are working outside the station, you are getting 14 euros being paid. Either sometimes the job pays it, or you can get it through tax fix at the end of the year. They give you that money, you know. So it's really, really better paying. And I see people suffering in care homes, like having to deal with with bullying, like colleagues bullying nurses who are older, bullying the nurses who are new. And they pull the motivation, they pull the energy out of you and the positivity out of you, and you start hating your job. I see people facing this, and I'm like, you know what? If you know that you are someone who can work independently, why not consider working in ambulatory intensive care? It could be a station where you only have 3 patients. And if you even do not have a problem with working alone, you can do one-on-one, because your duties are the same as you're doing in the care home, just that this one is 12 hours and this one is with ventilated patients, whereby some patients do not have even ventilation. They can be having other diseases, but they need the intensive care, you know. So you should look into that. And if you have any questions about home intensive care, you should comment them down below, and I will give you all the information that I have. And if you are in home intensive care, tell me, like, what positive things have you seen in it, and what disadvantages have you seen in it? Because on my side, I only see positive things, you know, because people might say, oh God, the angehörige, the relatives are so anstrengend, like are so demanding, they want this and this. You as a nurse, you know what your duties are, because we usually have our targets ablauf. We usually have a list of things we're supposed to be doing. If what the angehörige or the relatives want something from you that is not on that list, you are free to tell them, you know what, these are my duties. This is what I'm supposed to be doing in these 12 hours. And if it's outside the 12 hours, I will have to talk through that with my boss to clear it up if I'm supposed to be doing it, you know. Ich bin sehr gespannt. I really want to know. I'm really so eager to know what you guys think about home intensive care, ambulant and home intensive care, Wohngemeinschaft. I would like to know what you guys think about it. And if you are not yet in Germany, and you're hoping to do Ausbildung in Germany here, or to start working as a nurse here in Germany, I would say inform yourself about home intensive care, because it's something that you would want to consider, I swear. Now, I'm talking too much. I thought I was going to close this video, but I think I should also say this one. Recently, I was talking to my girlfriend. She is working as an operation nurse. She works in the operation station where they do Schönheit OP, like beauty operations, like making the breasts smaller and putting fillers or something like that. And she was telling me that there is a lot of bullying on that station, because there are German nurses who think that as a foreign nurse you know nothing, and they want to boss you up, you know. And that's so exhausting, you know. She was like, it's really so exhausting, because the doctors are nice to her, most of the workers are nice to her, but whenever they put her in a shift where she has to partner with this one person, she feels like she doesn't want her job anymore. And I was like, oh, that's really sad, but I can relate, because that's how stations used to be. Like, you might only have one person who is having a problem with you, and you hate your nursing career already. You just want to change career because of this one person. But I say, do not really give up your nursing career because of one person. Try different sectors until you find a place that speaks to you as a nurse. So recently she says she's going to be doing something else. She was given a job offer where she can be assisting the doctors to learn new instruments to be using in a hospital. So she'll be working in a company which produces those medical devices, and then she goes and explains to the doctors how they are supposed to operate these ones, you know. So that's the kind of job that she'll be doing, and she'll be doing also home office. I'm going to end this video here, and check out my previous video. Until next time, bye. Wait guys, I have to switch off this because it's making me go crazy. I've been watching a video here, and it's moving, and it's making me go crazy. Anyway guys, I was saying